Welcome back to another episode of Chill Film Discussions. Yes, another episode 44, I think. And today we have Forgetting Sarah Marshall is the film that we discussed today. It's a 2008 American rom-com film that it's directed by Nicholas Stoller and it stars Jason Segel, Kristen Bell, Mila Kunis, and Russell Brand as the titular characters of this film. Basically, yeah, I mean, it's Jason Segel gets broken up by his hot ex-girlfriend Kristen Bell, and then goes on vacation, and somehow it ends up vacationing in the same spot as his ex, and then meets Mila Kunis' character, and that's the beginning of the whole forgetting Sarah Marshall part of the film. That's essentially it. That's the premise of the film. But as simple as the plot is, as simplistic as the plot is, what I really like about this film is the sort of the character development. I mean, you have these characters, especially between Jason Segel's character Peter and Mila Kunis' character Rachel. Their relationship as they, grow together is very genuine, and it's very it's not forced. They have clear chemistry. I think the acting in this film is really good on all fronts. And like the comedy is not like straight like direct at your face. It's like subtle. It's contextual. There's a lot of I guess like banter in some sense between characters, especially between Peter and Sarah. And yeah, it's really nice to see because I mean it's in the perspective of Peter, right? Jason Segel's character, but also you see as his relationship with Rachel is growing. Like you also see that Sarah Marshall's relationship with Aldous, who Russell Brand plays, is deteriorating, and there's this really nice meet in the middle. Like they intersect at some point, and there's this one dinner scene where they intersect, and that's sort of almost like a climax of sorts in the film regarding their relationships. Where it kind of unfolds, and that whole dinner scene was great. You have to watch the movie to see it, but it was a nice, a fun ride, fun journey to sort of experience. But yeah, like I said, really good film. There are some very explicit scenes that maybe did not need to be there or didn't really add to the film in my sense, in my perspective. But for the most part, and some editing, I don't know. There was some parts where the transitions between scenes was a bit odd to me. I noticed, and that might be because of the big stark contrasting colors of daytime versus nighttime, perhaps. But it's very minor, very small, and it doesn't necessarily didn't really take too much out of the film for me. But yeah, for the most part, really fun, fantastic film. Well written characters, well acted. Simplistic plot, but it was contained and it flowed. So overall, great. Yeah.
Overall, great. Yeah, no, I think we're probably gonna be very similar.
Oh yes, sir.
There's not much to say that you haven't said, right? You actually said the characters are great, the characterizations are great, and the writing was phenomenal. I think. I never. There's not a point where I was cringing. There are points where I cringed, but this was only because of the actions, right? Just especially when Peter's character was going back to Sarah Marshall and they started the kiss. I was like, oh no, don't do that, right? But every character had motivations that I could understand, and I love how they portrayed that on screen. Every character was had growth or made sense. Why did they do the things that they did, right? We get color into relationship between the relationships between Sarah and Peter. Why Sarah cheated, how Peter probably wasn't their best boyfriend, but how again there are other good sides to them, and they found people who, well, at least Peter found someone who really supports him, who really loves him, while at the same time Sarah kind of got her comeuppance with finding a guy who probably wasn't as stable or wasn't emotionally always there. Will always be emotionally there for her, right? Mm-hmm. So it's kind of comeuppance for the cheating that she did. No character is really bad, right? Everyone has their own to a point. But Sarah's own act of cheating is obviously something we need to have kind of some kind of like justice come up with to be paid for, and it kind of shows at the end, right? Where
Yeah.
she tries to get back to Peter, it doesn't happen obviously. And, he kind of calls her out and goes back to and has his own happy ending with Rachel.
Yeah.
And
No.
again,
Sure.
with Rachel, we also kind of see her own, our character evolution, where she was all kind of standoffish, but later on she falls in love, and I love to see how that, that process happening, how that, her character transforms. Everyone's acting was great, and it really portrays, I think, elevates the movie even more. The comedy, was I was surprisingly I think enjoyed it a lot. There's like a lot of little moments here and there which I
Mm.
was cracking up with. Some of the jokes are again off color, but I think that's just probably part of the time. It came out in like 2008. We're now in 2022, so things a little bit more PC, but that's I think okay in terms of how it goes, right? Jokes, comedy evolves, right? What people find funny changes, right? Um, so I think yeah, most of the jokes I think land for me that I felt funny, and yeah, and I think yeah, yeah, the characters are the big one. The writing is a big. Comedy was there. The premise was also pretty interesting. So everyone made decisions that were understandable. So overall, very very fun movie. Liked it a lot.
Yeah. I mean, it's a joy to watch. There was thematic significance if you I guess if you read into it a little bit more regarding the movie in
Yeah,
terms of relationships and whatnot.
yeah.
Rebounds and just like I don't know what to do and I guess what not to do in some sense.
Well, communication's part of the big one, right? That's
Yeah,
the
communication is
big
very
one,
big.
right?
There's a yeah, there's some things you can take out of this movie to
Yeah,
better improve your relationships or
yeah,
how you interact in your relationships in the future. But overall, just a fun ride, just a fun journey.
yeah,
set in Hawaii. It's it's kind of like a fun little adventure of sorts, a little break from reality.
yeah.
um,
Exactly.
and
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah. So ratings for this film. I would give this film a 9.
9.
Yep, this film's a 9 for me. It's not.
Yeah.
I mean, for the most part, like I wouldn't change um, this film. I think a lot of the comedy um, was there. Like I definitely had moments where I was very amused and very entertained and laughing. And other than maybe like the edits, the transitions between certain scenes, and perhaps maybe not having Jason Segel just be completely butt naked in the beginning and the end of the film. I don't really know how that really added. Other than
Yeah.
doing like a full circle, which like you didn't really need that to be like your full circle, full circle ending. Yeah. Other than that, like fantastic. I really enjoyed this film.
Fantastic film.
Great film.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think for me, I'd probably give it an 8.5. I think very,
Oof.
very,
All
very
right.
close. I
All
think
right.
for me,
I thought you would
yeah,
give it an 8. I thought you were. I
yeah,
thought my rating. I thought you would give it an 8.
very
But
close, right? I
yeah.
think, yeah. I mean, I did enjoy the movie, the comedy, the writing, the actors, and just the characterization. So that really, I think upped the film for me. And then the storyline too, very simple but also very engaging, right?
Yeah.
I think just how explicit some of the scenes were, or just like, yeah, like I would probably remove those, or just like be a bit more subtle about it. I don't think it was needed at all. And I think it's probably there for shock effect, but I
Yeah.
don't think it was needed. And then there's just one couple, right? That was like a Christian couple who was on their honeymoon. Personally, I don't know why the press is there. I probably would have removed it or changed it. But I don't think that presence was really really needed. So I think a lot of that at times I probably would have just removed it. And then Jonas Hill's character,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
yes, he
Jonah
was
Hills.
comedic and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if I would have him as prominent as we did. I mean, yeah, he was
Mm.
funny, right? There's those points where yeah, he's like an obsessed fan.
Yeah.
But I don't think he added much to the plot.
Yeah.
Well, maybe there's I don't know. I
No.
have to
He.
rewatch it.
Wait. Well, I mean, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I guess he didn't like. He could have been replaced. Like he didn't have to be there necessarily. But
Right.
um. Yeah.
But he was
He.
just a funny guy, right?
Yeah.
And just
Like awkward
yeah,
humor sort
yeah.
of thing.
It's a bit awkward and maybe just a bit off color at times. But again, it was just there his character I might have like phased out or just given not as much
Yeah.
prominence as the other characters though were pretty funny. I love like also like the bartender, he was a pretty funny character, right? It has some slam lines. I love the
Yeah.
stepbrother, he was pretty funny too.
Oh yes, yeah,
So,
yeah. Yeah, yeah,
I really enjoyed his parts, and whenever he was talking with him and his wife. But yeah, overall, there's probably other scenes. The comedy effects probably would have written a bit differently with the characters, but overall, enjoy the experience. Definitely would recommend
wow,
to anyone.
sirs. What a first. This is like one of those comedy films where I'm like, maybe he wouldn't like it, but I guess times are changing. Maybe you're getting
Yeah, I
soft,
mean,
Austin. You're getting soft on the comedy
I might
films.
be, but maybe this is more classical. I don't know. I just like a lot of comedy. I feel like it's like not like slapstick it can be okay, right? But like
Mm,
sometimes it's just like stupid comedy, like
yeah,
if
yeah,
someone's like acting like out of character, or they could have they don't act rationally, right? So they think they could pull that off as comedy or something that's like ironic. I don't really like that, like scenes like when people just choose things for the sake of doing things. But here, I
okay.
think it's just like everything's intentional, or it's kind of unexpected, or just like
Or contextual. It's very contextual.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
Very contextual, and that's what's funny, right? But or compared to someone who's like irrational, or just like doing something for the sake of it. Like like one thing that always comes up to mind is what's it? White chicks, right?
White
Oh man,
Chicks.
I didn't know. Or the hot chicks, sorry, or not white chicks. We did
Oh,
watch
okay.
white
White
chicks.
Chicks is a film.
Yeah,
But
but
yeah, we didn't
that
watch
was
it.
on
Hot Chick.
Prime
Yeah,
TV.
Hot Chick.
Hot
Yeah,
Chick, right? The one with Rob Schneider, right? I just oh man,
yeah,
I did not like that film. But something
yeah,
like that, like I just can't get over there's some portions where I just like question everything that's happening, but here I'm not questioning, right? Everything makes
yeah,
sense, and
yeah,
then
yeah.
because of that, I find humor in
Right, right.
the scenarios that are happening.
There's definitely some comedy films like the Hot Chick that are more like guilty pleasures than
True.
like
Yeah.
you actually like it because it's necessarily it's good. Uh, yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Exactly. There's yeah, different portions, and they could do a whole video analysis of like what comedies do I like and what do I not
sure.
like, and
Yeah,
why
sure,
do
yeah,
I,
yeah.
and that's a whole other thing.
That's a whole
But
nother thing.
yeah, but this one I think when you said like, oh yeah, like, also there might be a comment. You might like this movie. I was like, okay, we'll see. I don't know if you're saying that sarcastically or if you actually thought I would like it. When the first movie opened up, I was like, oh, maybe because they're very explicit. It's like I don't know about
Yeah,
this.
that's what 'cause I actually didn't remember that Jason there was nudity, like straight nudity in the scene. Like you can actually see like everything. It was like it's just there, and
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah,
oh great, I don't know if Austin's gonna like this.
yeah. But it evolves later, and then I can get over it. But yeah, I think that's probably a scene I could remove. But did enjoy the movie, so
Yeah, yeah. No, okay, well, cool. Well, we got our ratings. I think we both. I'd safe to say that we both highly recommend this film.
yep.
Just if you're just looking for like laughs and just in a row, I think for comedy, like good comedy. Hey,
Mhm.
it came from us, right? We're professionals. We both are professional critics of the movie industry. So clearly, it must be good if we both like it, right? All right. Well, that ends this today's discussion. We'll be back next week at the same time, 11 a.m. Pacific, with a brand new movie that we, of course, haven't decided because we're going to decide that off stream right after this. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Watching our discussion, and hope have a great day whenever you watch this, if you
Yeah.
do watch it. So